Good morning, dear students. In last lectures, in properties to be analyzed of food material, we have learned about the composition and structure of the food. Okay, in this lecture, we will learn about the properties to be analyzed, that is physiochemical properties of the food as well as sensory attributes of the food. Physiochemical properties of the foods like rheological properties of the food, optical property of the food, stability of the food, flavor of the food material ultimately determines their perceived quality, sensory attributes and behavior during production, storage as well as consumption of that food. Okay, then we will see the optical properties of the foods. Optical properties of the foods are determined by the way that they interact with electromagnetic radiation in the visible region of the spectrum. For example, absorption, scattering, transmission and reflection of the light. Okay, for example of this optical property of the food, full fat milk has a more whiter appearance than skimmed milk. Why? Because when there is an incident of the light on the surface of that full fat milk, okay, the light is scattered due to the presence of the fat globules suspended in that milk. That's why it appears more whiter. On the other hand, in the skimmed milk, there is lesser content of the fat. Okay, so this is the optical property of the food. Then we will go to the rheological properties of the foods. The rheological properties of foods are determined by the way that the shape of the food changes or the way the food flows in response to some applied force. For example, margarine should be spreadable when it comes out of the refrigerator, but you left that margarine at room temperature for the time of period, then it will collapse and due to its own weight. Okay, this is the rheological property of the food. Okay, then we will go to the next property of the food, that is next physiochemical property of the food, that is stability of the food. So the stability of food is measured by the ability of food to resist changes in its properties over a period of time. These changes in the food material may be chemical changes, physical changes, or of biological origin. Okay, chemical stability refers to the change in the type of molecule present in a food with the time due to the chemical or biochemical reactions in the food. For example, rancidity of the fat or non-enzymatic browning. Okay, then we will go to the physical stability. This physical stability of the food material refers to the change in spatial distribution of the molecules present in food with time due to the movement of the molecules from one location to the another location. For example, a droplet of creaming in milk. Okay, then biological stability. Biological stability of the foods refers to the change in the number of microorganisms present in a food with time. For example, bacterial growth or fungal growth in the food. Okay, then we will see the flavor of the food is determined by the way that certain molecules in the food interact with receptors in the mouth and nose of human beings. Okay, as you know, there are the certain odoriferous components or some components which are responsible for specific taste of the food product. When we consume that food product, okay, that the component of that food product will react with the receptor present in the mouth, and after that the impulse will be generated and carry forwarded to the brain, and then we can identify the taste of that food material. Similarly, when any odoriferous component present in the food product, then that component gets vaporized and spread into the air. When we inhale that air goes to the upper part of the nasal cavity where olfactory epithelium is present, and in this olfactory epithelium there are receptors that this odoriferous component reacts with that receptors, and then impulse will generated, and that impulses are carried forwarded to the brain where brain identify and recognize that different smells. So the perceived flavor of food product depends on the type and the concentration of flavor constitutes within it. Okay, for example, if any product is sweet, then the sweetness of that food is depend on the concentration of the component which is responsible for sweetness of that food product, for example sugar. Okay, so often analytically the flavor of food is often measured by measuring the concentration of the component which is responsible for that flavor. Okay, so we have to know the concentration of that flavoring component present in food material, type and release of flavor molecule within a food or in the head space above the food where it packed. So food must be therefore carefully designed so that they have required physiochemical properties over the range of environmental conditions that they will experience during this processing, during the storage, or during the consumption. Okay, for example, variations in temperature or mechanical stress, consequently, or analytical techniques are needed to test foods. Okay, to ensure that they have the appropriate physiochemical properties and they will retain that physiochemical properties over a period of time. Okay, during the various stages of processing, storage, or consumption. Okay, then we will go to the next properties to be analyzed, that is sensory attributes. So sensory attributes, ultimately the quality or desirability of any food material is determined by the interaction of food material with the sensory organs of human beings. That is example vision, taste, smell, feel, or hearing. For this reason, the sensory properties of new or improved foods are usually tested by human beings to ensure that they have acceptable and desirable properties before they are launched into the market. So, foods are often tested by the large groups of the untrained consumers to determine their reaction to new product or to determine their reactions to for improved product or for further improvement in the food product. Okay, or alternatively, sometimes selected individuals are used and that individuals are trained so that they can reliably detect small differences in the specific qualities of that food product. Okay, but there are some disadvantages in these methods because this analysis is often uh, carried out for the acceptance or rejections of the particular food product. Means when sensory, whatever sensory quality anticipated by that consumer from that food product, okay, if that food product meets that quality, that product is accepted by the consumers or it is rejected by the consumers. So this process is a very time consuming and expensive to carry out. Similar, at the same time, tests are not objective. Okay, then the major disadvantage is it cannot be used on the materials. Okay, then contains poisonous or toxic materials, and it cannot be provide any information about the safety or composition or nutritional value of the food. It provides only the information about the sensory attributes of the food. Okay, so for this reason, objective analytical tests which can be performed in the laboratory using standardized equipment and procedures are often preferred for testing of food product properties that are related to specific sensory attributes. For this reason, many attempts have been made to correlate sensory attributes to the quantities of that specific components which are responsible for that sensory attributes only, that can be measured by using objective analytical techniques with varying degree of success. Means यामध्ये कसं केलं जातं की मेनी टाइम सेन्सरी ॲट्रिब्यूट्स आर लिमिटेड विथ ओनली ॲक्सेप्टन्स ऑर रिजेक्शन ऑफ दॅट फूड मटेरियल. म्हणजे ते फक्त ऍक्सेप्ट केलं जाईल की रिजेक्ट केलं जाईल त्या कंझ्युमर कडून इतकंच समजतं त्या फूडची सेफ्टी, फूडची क्वालिटी, न्यूट्रिशनल व्हॅल्यू याच्याबद्दल त्या सेन्सरी पॅनल कडून किंवा सेन्सरी ॲट्रिब्यूट्स करून काहीही समजत नाही. त्याचबरोबर काही वेळेस ती रिस्क ही असते की समटाईम्स दॅट मटेरियल्स आर टॉक्झिक वगैरे असू शकतात आणि काही लोकांना सेन्सिटिव्हिटी, हायपर सेन्सिटिव्हिटी असतात काही मटेरियलला. तर अशा वेळेस सेन्सरी पॅनल कडून ते त्याचे अनालिसिस करून घेताना काही वेळेस ऍडव्हर्स इफेक्ट होऊ शकतात त्या पॅनल मधल्या काही समजा मेंबरवर वगैरे. तर हे टाळण्यासाठी काय केलं जाते की इक्विपमेंट्स डिझाईन केलेले आहेत आणि लॅबोरेटरीमध्ये बऱ्याच अशा टेस्ट केल्या जातात की जेणेकरून एखादा ओडोरिफरस कॉम्पोनंट किंवा एखादा स्पेसिफिक कॉम्पोनंट हा त्या सिमिलर जे सेन्सरी प्रॉपर्टी असेल त्याच्याशी तो रिलेटेड असतो. म्हणजे ती सेन्सरी प्रॉपर्टी ही त्या कॉम्पोनंट मुळे असते. तर ती कॉम्पोनंट मेजर करून आपल्याला ती सेन्सरी प्रॉपर्टी मेजर करता येते का हे बघितलं जातं आणि त्यात थोडंफार यश मिळालेलं आहे. फॉर एक्झाम्पल स्मेल वगैरे हे करणं खूप कठीण आहे, पण टेक्स्चर अनालायझर वापरून आपण त्याचे टेक्स्चरल प्रॉपर्टीज वापरू शकतो. चेवीनेस वगैरे जे आहे या गोष्टी ज्या आहेत त्या टेक्स्चर अनालायझरवर आपण बऱ्यापैकी चेक करू शकतो. किंवा स्वीटनेस वगैरे आहे ते आपण शुगरचं प्रमाण त्याच्यामध्ये किती आहे याच्यानुसार किंवा त्याचं शुगर प्रोफाईल वगैरे काढून त्याचं स्वीटनेस वगैरे चेक करू शकतो. सो these are we have completed here properties to be analyzed. Okay, then in next lecture we will go to the choosing a proper analytical technique. Okay, thank you very much.